and welcome to Stretford, Paddock. My name is Joe, and for the last time, I am not outside Old Trafford. I am still in Thailand, and this time it may be plain sailing for some of the boats out there, but it is not plain sailing for Manchester United at the moment. And on that note, potential 10 or more players will be leaving this summer. We're going to get into all of those names in just a minute, and also a potential return, a massive return to the squad for one Manchester United player. We'll get into all of that in just a second as well. There's also been an update on the new stadium redevelopment. We don't know what it is yet, but we do know that Seb and Co, one of the masterminds behind the 2012 London Olympics, has spoken out for the first time about the new plans to revamp the Old Trafford site. And another little whiz kid, another wonder kid at Manchester United is getting a new contract. We'll get into the details of that in just a second. First of all then, this is big news coming out of The Independent. They have ran this as an exclusive, and that is that Jadon Sancho would be willing to rejoin Manchester United's first team should Erik ten Hag leave this summer. Now, there's a bit of an interesting thing here. Obviously, United play at the weekend. Since I have been away, since I left England, Manchester United have not won a single game of football. And if that extends to this Sunday, when we play Coventry in the FA Cup semi-final, I could very, very well see that being Erik ten Hag's last game in charge at Manchester United. That isn't the wish of me. However, you just have to look at the landscape of football. Managers don't get to have a club's worst season in modern history and get away with it. We just know that that's how things go. It remains to be seen exactly what will happen with Erik ten Hag. But what we do know is this report coming out of The Independent. So they said Jadon Sancho is open to Manchester United return next season, with Erik ten Hag's future looking increasingly uncertain. Sancho's long-term Old Trafford career appeared to be all but over as he headed back to Borussia Dortmund on loan in January after failing to reconcile his differences with ten Hag. Independent, however, understands that Sancho is not giving up on his United career just yet. Should ten Hag go in the summer and a new manager come in, sources close to the player insist that he would be open to starting again. My opinions on this are very, very simple. I do not want Jadon Sancho back at Manchester United. And whether it becomes a new manager or whether we see a bit of an improvement in form from him at Dortmund, I can't have, and United can't have, more importantly, a culture where you can publicly fall out with a manager, you can not train properly, you can argue with that manager on social media, and then you can still play for Manchester United. Maybe in 10 years' time when United are winning trophies again and it's a small blip along the way where managers fall out and reconcile and you win 60 games a season and you win a treble. In that instance, maybe you can get away with it. But if United want to shake this reputation, and not just a reputation, it's a fact, that we don't have the sort of mentality and the mental strength that it takes to win big games and to win games consistently, you don't shake that reputation, you don't attract the best players, you don't win big games by having players in your squad who are willing to publicly fall out with the manager and then get another chance. It doesn't work like that. These are luxury players, and United are not in a position of luxury whatsoever. Get your thoughts in. Has Jadon Sancho been treated unfairly? Has Ten Hag done him dirty here? Is this on Ten Hag to fix it? Maybe Sancho's in the right as far as you're concerned. Let me know in the comments below. But as far as I'm concerned, get as much money as you can for Jadon Sancho. It was a transfer that hasn't worked, and I think United need to move on. Right, next up then, let's move on to our next story. Now, this kind of dovetails with that last one. Chris Wheeler, who's been on the channel, has gone through a list of over 10 players that Manchester United could get rid of this summer. Now, these aren't just like sort of fringe players, under 18s, Tom Huddleston, who occasionally gets a game for the under 21. This is like an actual list of first-team players or first-team squad players who may well be leaving this summer. I'm going to go through every single one of them. Anthony, Lindelof, Casemiro, Eriksen, Wan-Bissaka, Martial, Jadon Sancho, Mason Greenwood, Donny van der Beek, Facundo Pellistri, Hannibal Mejbri, and Alvaro Fernandez, all set to leave this summer. I think I want to focus on two in particular, Anthony and Casemiro. Both of them Ten Hag signings. Both of them signed within, I think, a week of each other. Both of them signed in desperation after losing games early on last season. And both of them, and I hate to say this because if you'd have asked me this 12 months ago, I would have said Casemiro was an absolute success and I saw a lot of potential in Anthony. Both of them now, 2 years into their Manchester United careers, are underperforming massively. And it makes me feel so sad, especially Casemiro, the things I've seen him do for Real Madrid, the things I've seen him do for Manchester United. And at the minute, we're seeing a player who looks like he's playing like lads versus dads against his kids' Sunday League team. So when you just turn up and, oh, he used to be great, he was semi-pro, Casemiro, when he was younger, and he gets the ball and he whips it over his shot. Oh, I'll put it out. Sorry, lads. It looks like he wants to just sort of show how good he is without actually showing how good he is. He wants to do the easy version of looking like a superstar and not the hard stuff. When I watch him sprint, it looks like it hurts him. Like trying to get to the ball, like he can't. It looks like he can't run. And people say, someone's legs have gone. I've seen players play into their late 30s and their speed may go. Cristiano Ronaldo isn't the player he once was. His speed isn't there. But when he sprints, he still looks like a human sprinting. Casemiro looks like he's sort of dragging something behind him, like a trolley full of cement behind him. I don't know what it is, but it looks, and I actually mean this with respect, he looks like he finds it difficult to move these days. And that is obviously not something United need. With the difficulties we have tactically anyway, in terms of that big gap in midfield, the last thing you can afford is a footballer who can't run backwards, who has to slide tackle every time the opposition gets the ball because he's worried that he's going to have to make a 40-yard run alongside his man and knows he can't do that. He's had a fantastic career. He won us the Carabao Cup last season. He's won us some big games, especially early on this season. They'll go under the radar because everyone was so bad. He was our top scorer, I think, until just before Christmas. Casemiro has been a very good player and a world-class player throughout his time. However, I cannot see a reason why he would stay beyond this season unless there is an injury that we don't know about, something going on behind the scenes. For me, we need to replace him with a younger, fitter, faster central midfielder to play alongside Mainoo. Right, next up then, this is we don't know yet. Is it a redevelopment? Is it a reworking? Is it a new build? What is it? Manchester United are looking at options around Old Trafford and the area around Old Trafford itself as well. And Seb and Co, who was one of the founders, he's an athlete in his own right, obviously. He was one of the sort of building blocks and the sort of foundational pieces of the London 2012 bid and successful bid and running and development of that Olympic Games. He is now coming in at Manchester United to help redevelop Old Trafford. He has said, at the London 2012 Olympics, I saw firsthand how sport can be a powerful driver of urban regeneration, and I'm excited to be part of this project. This meeting marked the start of a multi-stakeholder process to explore options for the stadium and surrounding area. We are at the start of this journey and it's too soon to know where it will lead, but we will consult closely with fans and local residents along the way and keep everyone informed of progress. I don't think there's a lot to say there. I wanted to get that quote out. I wanted to make sure everyone knew that the ball was rolling, the snowball is moving in regard to Manchester United's new stadium, but really there isn't a whole lot of update just yet. One place where there is a bit of update, and this is from Fabrizio Romano, and this is some good news. In a season where there's not been a lot, the bright spark, the shining light for Manchester United, I think there's been three. I think Onana's form in 2024. I think Diogo Dalot, his sort of building as a very, very good fullback. And of course, the jewel in the crown this season has been Mainoo. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Understand that Manchester United are now pushing in talks to extend Mainoo's contract by the summer after initial discussions in February. Ineos want Kobe to be one of the faces of the new project. New deal would see salary increase for Mainoo and several add-ons. I'm not going to say the phrase, give him what he wants, because we've given players what they want in the past, and you end up with Matic on a 4-year deal, Phil Jones on a 5-year deal, you end up with Casemiro on a 5-year deal, you end up with Eriksen on a 3. I don't want to say that. United have to be smart here, but don't take the piss out of him. He's, like I said, he's been one of the best things about Manchester United this season. Give him a pay rise, give him a contract that reflects how good he's been and how important he is to Manchester United without sacrificing the structure that United are hopefully trying to instill under Ineos. Treat players with respect, especially academy players. There's a tendency for academy players to be underpaid compared to their sort of transferred counterparts because of the fact that they're seen as an easy get. Paul Scholes, of course, is going to sign a new deal. Marcus Rashford, up until now, obviously, he's got a huge deal now. Of course, he's going to sign a new deal. He's a United lad. Mainoo is a United lad, but let's give him what he deserves, and that is a big pay rise and something that puts him in line with some of the other players in the Premier League and not 350 grand that Casemiro's on. Let's be sensible, but let's reward him for how brilliant he has been this season. That is going to be all from me. Jay, we're back tonight with Stretford Paddock Live. I'm going to have to dip in the sea because it is absolutely pissing it down on my forehead. And I'll tell you what, it's not coming from the clouds. That's going to be all from me. Next week, I will be back in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been the news. I've just sprayed sweat on Lizzie's face. Sorry about that. We'll see you in a bit.